When I saw this song taught by Gavin Rosedale on, I think it was Guitar World, they had an article on how he actually bought Joe Walsh's, I think it's a Jazzmaster, the guitar he used on Hotel California Rhythm. And anyhow, it was a good story, but the article went on and had a video of him teaching how to play this song. He doesn't really name the song, and I'm like, God, I know that song, so I brought it back, and some of the things he taught, you know, it's always cool to learn from the artist. So watching this live, I figured it all out, so I've written it out. My notes will be below there. I'm in standard tuning. I'll also have a link to his video on YouTube teaching the parts of this. The song starts out with a E power chord. We're going to hit that twice before we add the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and then once without. He doesn't really pull it down, it's just... There's a 16 count before the next guitar comes in. You'll hear it, you know, it goes on, but there's a slide guitar that comes in from about the 2nd fret, just real slowly going down the neck, and it's more in the background until we kick in with the D and the C chords. When we do that, he starts playing some slide, and we'll go over that also. I'm going to stick with the rhythm right now. After the lesson, we'll go over the 2nd guitar, and they also play the solo. So, not real difficult. It's just great how he adds some dissonance to this and just pushes the song along also. So, after our 16 count, we're going to come in with a D power chord and then a C power chord. And the strumming is going to be down and then down up. Go to C, and then we repeat that first lick. Then he hits 2 open A and D strings, so the 5th and 4th string. It's kind of like a D leading into a D. Okay? So the intro with the 16 count doesn't do the open 5th and 6th string. It's only when you start and from here forward that you add those notes. So the first measure, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that will repeat another 2 times, and then we just hold the E. Alright, the bass and vocals will continue on, and he sings a little bit, and then he goes about, should I fly Los Angeles and find my ass, you know, brother. At that point, the slide guitar comes in, but you can do this also at a C chord up here at the 15th and 17th fret. And just slide down, all right? And then we're into, again, this is still the verse, but the verse now has that basic intro lick. So that's twice. We'll do it 2 more times for the end of the verse, and then we're into the chorus. Now, when he goes into the chorus, the first time, he's going to come from that C to the A, and it's a da-da-da, so down, up, down, very quick, all right? So let me go through the last measure of the verse, and then I'll come into the chorus, and we'll talk about that. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that would continue on for another couple measures. But what we're doing there, again, when we come into it, we hit the A, down, up, down. And then the rhythm is very similar to what we were doing with this. It's a down and then down, up. All right, so we come in with our down, up, down, and then a down, and then down, up. Then we lift off, come into the F, all right? The F will be the same rhythm, down, and then down, up, down. But we're gonna get one more down in there. Then we come to a G. Now this is where he taught this. And again, I looked this up. I always research my lessons. A lot of people were teaching this. But watching him do it, he's actually playing the G chord and pulling it down, which makes a lot of sense to me because he's getting a little bit of dissonance with the rest of the G. So the pull down actually happens, and the way I wrote this out is I bolded every other so you can count it easier, all right? So we're going to pull down 4 times total, and then it's 4 open, 3, open, 3, and then we lift off and come back to our A. So it's almost like an extra lift off. But it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So really, it's fun to do. I actually pull a little bit of the chord down too. It's up to you. I mean, these guys watching them live, they are just rocking this out, jamming away, you know. God bless them for it. So that's the chorus. And that's consistent throughout the song. Right after the chorus, we have, basically it's a little tag like the intro lick. This will be where the second guitar enters in its slide. And it's really repeating the intro riff, all right? So we're gonna do one measure of that. So it'll be basically 2 times through, E, D, C, then our E lick, D, C. And then we're into verse 2. Now verse 2, rather than slide down the C, there's a little bit different pick note that I want to make note of because it's very prominent in the song. All right, so he comes in after the he's just kind of holding that E, and he's talking about he'll say the word saint. All right, at that point we're going to take the 3rd string at the 3rd fret, pinch harmonic, hit it and hit it again. Then you just come so you continue the verse, but that pinch harmonic is right, it's there, boy, it's the 3rd fret. And then you come in with the E. All right, finish out the verse, we're into chorus 2. So for chorus 2, we're going to do it 3 full measures. All right, after the 3rd measure, he cuts it short and they stop. And they do the shortened version 2 more times. So let me go through the very last, the 3rd full measure, and then I'll go into the stops. And then the very last measure, which is not stopped. He goes in with the the open 3, without being pulled, and then into the bridge. So, let me start from the last measure, full measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. into the bridge. So the short measure is 4 of the bends, and then we hit 1 open E string to stop. And then we do that again, and then again 3 total times. 1 with that little lick, the A and the F. And then the last time is the full. And then he's into the actual bridge, which is not an A chord, but excuse me there. The bridge comes in, he'll slide in, and he's going to come into a D chord. I'll show you the bridge and then we'll go over it. So I'm going to do the last little part of the second chorus, which will lead us into the bridge, and then I'll talk about the bridge. So for the bridge, we're basically coming in with our D to C. The D will be our slid into, and then we're going to hit down and then down up. But when we get to the, let's see, because we're going down, that will be a B flat. Because if you go up, you count it as A sharp. Okay, same note. Anyhow, B flat, it's just 2 hits. So there's a little chuck of strings as we're moving through. Then we come to our G, it will be a down, down, up. Then we move quickly to a C, down, down, up. Repeat. Except we're going to stay on the G one more time rather than moving to C. Then we come back through. Back to our G, but this time we're going to come, after hitting the G once with a down, down, up, we're going to come to our B flat, and we'll do that twice. Alright, and then we're into the solo. The solo rhythm's a little bit different. He's doing some octaves under it, although I think there's a third guitar actually playing chords in part of it. Either way, it sounds great. So we'll go over the solo rhythm. During the bridge, I'm pretty sure the solo guitar is following the chords. It's kind of in the background. I didn't really write that out. It's pretty easy if you play slide, just slide into the chords. So after that, we're into the solo rhythm. I'm going to go through that because that leads us into the interlude. Again, there's really a couple guitars. One at the first part between E, D, and C, playing the full chords, and then one playing octaves. After that full chords, we go up the neck. Those are just octaves. But I'm going to show you just the octaves. All right? That's how I've written it out. Then we come into a harmonic after a C. So basically we're on the 5th string and the 3rd string. We're going to do that for a 4 count before we move down a full step to D and then C octave. At that point, we're going to come in again with octaves. We're going to go from the E to the F sharp to the G, and then finally landing on the A. Repeat. Before we do just what we did in the first part, I'll play this as chords. And then you'll hear some harmonics at the 12th fret. they go into the interlude. The interlude's basically just bass and drums playing, a little bit of slide guitar. But this lick you'll hear, it's a little bit quieter. It's not... Alright, so you'll hear this like... Alright, so what he's doing, well worth mentioning, we're going to be on the 4th string at the 4th fret with a bend and release and pull off to 2. Then hit open, then to the, I'm sorry, yeah, that's the 4th string. And then we land on the 5th string at 3. Alright, and then we go into what we call, it's basically the post-interlude. It starts building up, and it'll be our C and D, which is part of this. Alright, and then we're into the outro. Alright, the interlude starts building up, and he's going to come in with that right into the chorus. Alright, the chorus will be for 3 full measures. The 4th one is cut short because we go into the tag or the outro. Alright, so what we have here is post interlude into the chorus. I'll do 1 measure of each. Alright, so there, we'll do that 3 full times. The last time, the little tag I'm talking about that takes us into the intro is basically, it's the same, I should say outro. The outro is A and F with an open E string between each string. We'll go into the G pull down, but that's the gist of the outro. So I'm going to show you the tag that comes after that 3rd chorus and starts us into this outro rhythm. Alright, so let's go from the G's. So I actually went all through the outro, but that tag is up here at the 17th on the 6th string and 19th on the 5th string. You can let, 4th string, you can let the A ring open between them, but it's just an octave that he hits down, up, down, up, down, before sliding into an F. So that's an A, all right? It's just really, it adds to that, just that build up and then release. So again, the rest of it, until we go into the A or the G section where we're pulling down, will be A into F. So I exaggerated there, but there's that open E that leads you into or gives you time to get to the next chord. Alright, the pull down when we go to the G, let's see how many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, 9 times. And then we go into just the 3, 5, or 3 open 4 times. And then end on an A. So the slide in the intro, again, you'll hear it kind of come in. I'm just using the E chord, maybe a couple extra strings, strike them and then pull it. You'll hear it come up very slowly all the way up the string, And then when the band kicks in with the D chord, you'll hear him do this. Alright, so what he's doing, he's sliding in on the 4th and 3rd string to the 12th fret, and then he's going to hit the 3rd and 2nd string with some vibrato back and forth. Alright, we're going to do that a total of 4 times. Let me take it from the intro, from the whole beginning. I'm sorry, this isn't set up for slides, so anyhow. Then we're going to slide on the 2nd string up to 17, hit 17 again, then 17 slide to 15. Then we hit 17 slide to 11, quickly to 12. Alright, it's just well executed, you know, again, that dissonance adds movement to this whole rhythm. It's wonderfully done. That whole lick will repeat. So when we end the first chorus and come back in with the lick, that second guitar will enter again with that exact same lick, alright? And then we're into, like I said, during the bridge, he's kind of following the chords. You know, again, it's kind of quieter, it's in the background. You can just make your own noises with it. Alright, the solo. Oh, before we get into that, let me give you a tip. If ever you're trying to figure out a solo that's on slide guitar, you can figure out the notes without a slide if that's easier, and then, you know, make notations for yourself and then just use the slide once you figure out the notes. That's pretty much how I do it. Again, forgive me, my guitar's not really set up for the slide, but it'll sound similar. Alright, once we get to 5 at the on the 3rd string, what we're going to do is slide off and do is hit open and then 4, sliding back to 3, 4 times. Alright, again, I'm not set up for slide, but then you'll hear him on the 4th string hit 5, 3 times, and then slide 5 on the 3rd string to 7 and then 9. Alright, then what he's going to do is slide up to 10. So we have this. And then we're going to come all the way up to 15 on the 1st string, slid to 14, and then 12. Alright, and then he stays at that position, hits 12 back to 10, and then 10, 9, up to 12. Alright, at that point we're going to come to the 1st string again, hit 7 3 times, slide back to 6 and 5, and then hit 5 sliding up to 7. Alright, then we hit 5 sliding up to 7 and then finally off. Alright, then you'll hear the interlude starts, and it's a tooth string, 3, 4, 5 on the 1st and 2nd string. Alright. And then on the 4th and 3rd string, it'll be 7 up to 9, 11, and 12. Alright, so I'm sorry, that was terrible, but you get the idea. I've written it out. You know, download my notes, and if you have a guitar set up for slide, it'll be much easier to play. Or, again, you can play these notes without the slide. It sounds fine. So I really, really hope that helps everybody. Thank you for all your support and letting my ads run. I always, I really appreciate it. Enjoy.